I love the smell of controversy in the morning. Let's see, unpopular theme park opinions, done. Underrated and overrated roller coasters, done. Coaster wars, done. Looks like the only controversial thing left to do is to destroy every single roller coaster on planet Earth. But that wouldn't be very fun, would it? So instead I thought of this brilliant idea and I went to Twitter and asked what roller coaster type should die. And I'm talking roller coaster types which have outstayed their welcome, roller coaster types which don't belong on the planet, roller coaster types which are just not very good, like Steel Vengeance. That was a sick joke. So before I go over to Twitter and read through some of your comments, I'm going to share my thoughts on what roller coaster types should die. I'm saying die like that because no roller coaster type deserves to die. It's just a bit of fun. No roller coasters deserve to die. So, here we go. Every type of Wild Mouse ever. The Wild Mouse was a roller coaster which was introduced nearly 100 years ago, and today people are still abusing it for all the right and wrong reasons. I mean, what's fun about going around loads of flat turns? Probably about 10, 20 flat turns. What is the point in that? This thing was good, like I said, probably 100 years ago, and I know they are designed to fit in a very small footprint, but look at Schwarzkopf. They've been fitting coasters much more exciting in very similar footprints to many Wild Mouses out there. Intamin's multi-looping coaster. I never really thought this would bother me until Flamingo Land decided to purchase an Intamin multi-looper. Pretty much the same layout as Colossus with a few minor differences. You got a different drop, you got lap bars, all positive improvements. But I'm just not excited at all. Why would a park like Flamingo Land, known for constructing many unique and really wacky coasters, go for something as dull and boring as this layout which has been tried and tested for almost 30 years? And we've already got Colossus. What makes this coaster so special to the UK? And if I'm honest, the layout isn't exactly groundbreaking. It's just an onslaught of inversions. And I know the Smiler is an onslaught of inversions, but at least the Smiler has some exciting elements and some really good pops of airtime. This has not. Intamin water coasters should die. Now this probably sounds like a very random choice. I just feel like they completely miss the mark every time. And I'm talking about the water coasters that lift you up to about 160, 170 foot, and then you go down a drop which is like that shallow. It feels like you do absolutely nothing. It's just a complete waste of a massive footprint. And the actual roller coaster part isn't that exciting either. Maybe they've got a lot of untapped potential, but it's just a familiar theme of seeing like these really massive coasters with a drop which does absolutely nothing into a roller coaster layout which really doesn't do much either. Man, it's getting really dark out there. It's just suddenly started snowing, so I'll just pop the light on. Don't know if it looks any better. Hopefully it does. So yeah, you're probably thinking my choices are very random, and there's a very good reason for that. It's just I was looking through Twitter and people have already chosen roller coaster types which I'd have probably chosen in the first place. So I did want to think a bit outside the box and think of a few others that I could throw into the mix. But those are just my opinions. So let's check out your opinions over on Twitter. Let's go. Steve Slaybell's Chapel, the Vekoma 2 Across Hang and Bang. I'm presuming you're on about the classic Vekoma SLCs because the new SLCs look really damn good. And if you are about the classic ones, then I completely agree. Not necessarily because they're rough, because I've been on some which aren't rough at all. It's more the fact that I think, like I said with the Intamin multi-loopers, it's a layout that's been done over 100 times, and I think it's time Vekoma should retire that model. There's even knockoff ones in China being built. Why you'd want to build a knockoff Vekoma SLC, I never know. Joey says Zamperla Volare. I think we're going to get a few of these, you know. They were definitely smoking something at the board meeting when they came up with that one. Let's build a flying coaster. We'll strap people into a toaster rack and throw them off a cliff. I think you described that pretty much bang on. It's almost like combining a flying coaster with something like Wild Mouse. Two things which really shouldn't be put together. Airtime Alfie, pretty simple. Zamperla Volare, or however you say it. Did I say it right? Volare? Volare? Been there, done that. Zamperla Volares, just why? You're literally in a flying death rack looking like a disgruntled Dr. Hannibal Lecter. Again, perfect analysis on Zamperla Volare there. KA coasters, pretty much any Pinfari, no more needing said. Is there a good Pinfari out there? No! Thunderlooper. You've got a name called Thunderlooper and you coming at me with a hot take like this. Intamin launch, loud, rough and overall boring. Most are just up and back down. Thunderlooper, you launch, you go up, you go back down. Is that boring? This is one I wholeheartedly disagree with. I feel like Intamin launches are all about the launch, like drop towers are with the drops. Intamin launches are in a league of their own. Drunk Riders podcast, big shout out to you guys. Boomerang, die in a whole fire. If you're on about the old Boomerangs, you know, the ones with the cobra roll and the loop. Yeah, like SLCs, they've sprung up everywhere. We've seen them enough, I think. Junior Boomerangs, they're fine. I don't think Junior Boomerangs will be going anywhere anytime soon. Sam Costello, big shout out. Wacky worms. Pointless, even kids find them dull. The worms belong in the ground. That is a very good question. Are there any kids out there that generally do enjoy a wacky worm? That's a good point, I don't know. Partastic, RMC hybrid purely because of those leg restraint things. Ooh. Now I can't tell if this is serious or not. Them leg restraints, yeah. I didn't really have a massive problem with them on Zadra, but I can imagine if you may be taller or you got larger legs or something, it might cause a problem. That was a very hot take. John Wardley. Definitely B&M Dive Machines. All the layout is a drop and most of the time it's an Immelman and turns and bits and bobs where I can spare Oblivion. Well, of course you got to spare Oblivion. You're John Wardley, for God's sake. just for the record, I don't think this is the real John Wardley, but you know what? You have got a very valid point. Dive machines are pretty archaic in their designs now. I think when you got stuff like Infinity Coasters which can pull off the same kind of elements and just make a more exciting roller coaster overall, it does kind of make B&M Dive Machines a little obsolete. Kaitan 4D free spin / Zack spins. Whilst I appreciate their compact layout, they're just too rough and violent with the spinning and feel more like human washing machines than actual coasters. I've yet to do one of these. I've always been a bit put off from them, just looking at them. They seem super short, which could be a good thing or a bad thing. I feel like, again, it's like a layout with a lot of untapped potential because you just see them doing the same kind of thing. They just go up like that and have a couple of zigzags a bit up there and you're pretty much back in the station. I'm not too sure on that one. I need to get on one to really understand what they're like, so. Right guys, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button, smash subscribe and flick the bell to keep all up to date. What roller coaster type do you think should die? Let us know in the comments below. Videos on the left, merchandise on the right. Make sure to hit this button for the ride of your life. You've been watching ScrewyLoops. Sure a bit.